Today, we're diving into a celestial event that doesn't just change the weather, it kicks off an entire season of celebration. This is the story of Karkata Sankranti, the sun's great southern turn.
So, what happens when the sun seems to change its course in the sky? It's a question humans have been asking for, well, forever. It signals a change in the seasons, a shift in the light, but for some people, it means so much more.
Because in the Indian state of Odisha, this solar shift isn't just some astronomical curiosity. Nope, it's the official starting gun for months and months of festivals, fasts, and sacred traditions.
Okay, let's get into the specifics. The technical name for this day is Dakshinayana Sankranti. It sounds a bit complex, but if you break it down, Dakshina means south and Ayana means journey. So this is literally the day the sun begins its 6-month southward journey. And for people on the ground, this has a very real effect. The intense heat of the sun actually starts to soften.
To really understand how important this day is, we have to go right to the epicenter of the celebration, the famous Sri Mandir temple in Puri. Here, this huge cosmic event is mirrored by a series of really intricate and beautiful rituals.
The main events all happen right around midday, and they unfold in 3 distinct phases. First, the deities are prepared. Second, a grand offering of food is made. And finally, the ceremony is formally wrapped up. Let's break that down a bit.
The first step is all about preparation and purification. After a ceremonial bath, the deities are dressed in these special seasonal robes known as buidarani. Then, priests actually ascend the divine throne and apply cooling sandalwood paste all over their bodies. It's this amazing symbolic gesture as the sun's own intensity starts to fade.
And now for the grand offering. And trust me, this is anything but a quiet affair. Just try to imagine this. The sacred food, or prasad, is carried from the temple kitchen in this magnificent procession. It's just a wave of sound and color. You'd hear the clang of bells, the blast of trumpets, and you'd see these vibrant ceremonial umbrellas bobbing through the crowd. A total feast for the senses.
Now, what's really fascinating here are the little details of the offering. First, the main worship happens privately, with priests sitting behind a screen to keep it all sacred. Then a portion of the food, a special rice offering called Anna Bali, which means food sacrifice, is taken outside the inner sanctum. It's offered to the spirits believed to live around the temple. And finally, as the last step, some of that consecrated food is applied directly to the deities, physically connecting them to the offering.
And to conclude, the screen is removed and 2 final rites are performed. First up is the arati, that beautiful offering of light ceremony, where lighted lamps are waved before the deities. This is followed by bandapana, a final act of ceremonial veneration, which officially marks the end of the midday worship.
But traditions, especially living ones like this, have to be flexible. So what happens when this cosmic event happens to coincide with another massive festival?
I mean, what if Karkata Sankranti occurs during the Rath Yatra, the chariot festival? That's when the deities aren't even in the temple at all. They're outside on their giant, spectacular chariots, traveling among the people. What do you do then?
Well, the answer is the rituals adapt. The ceremony still happens, but it gets modified for these unique circumstances, which just brilliantly shows how practical the tradition is. So instead of cooked rice, the Bali offering is made with uncooked rice and black gram. And the main food offered to the deities, it's all dry stuff, which is just way easier to handle when you're outside the temple kitchen.
But the celebration of this day isn't just confined to the grand temple. It has an equally important and deeply personal place right inside the family home. So let's shift our focus from the public square to the private kitchen.
That's right. The focus shifts from the public, priestly rituals of the temple to the really intimate, family-centered space of the kitchen, which is truly the heart of the Odia home.
And here, we meet a different divine figure, Ala Lakshmi. She is known as the elder sister of the more famous goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity. The tradition holds that on this day, you must honor Ala Lakshmi first before the long season of worshiping her younger sister kicks off.
The worship is so simple and beautiful. An image of a Lakshmi is drawn on the kitchen door, often because it faces south, the direction of the sun's new journey. Sometimes an arecanut is used to represent her symbolically. She's then honored with incense and a special offering of Sankuti Boga, which are sacred foods prepared right there in the home kitchen.
And why this matters so much is because this simple, personal act of worship isn't just an isolated event. It's the official start of the Chatumasya Guruvara Brata, which basically translates to the 4-month Thursday vow, a deeply important period of fasting and prayer dedicated to goddess Lakshmi. Honoring a Lakshmi first paves the way for the blessings to come.
So from the cosmos to the temple, and from the temple to the home, you can see how this one day serves as a powerful starting point. It's kind of like the arrival of a special guest who doesn't come alone.
Ultimately, Karkata Sankranti is so much more than just a 24-hour period. It's the cultural and spiritual turning of the page. It's the day the switch is flipped and the entire land of Odisha enters into its main festival season.
There's a beautiful local proverb that just captures this feeling perfectly. It says, "The southern sister has arrived, bringing all the festivals with her." This southern sister is the personification of the Dakshinayana, the sun's southern journey, and her arrival promises months and months of joy and celebration.
It really makes you think about how we all mark the passage of time. So, a final thought to leave you with. What traditions, big or small, mark the changing of the seasons where you live?